time, I think.
Yeah, it's time. Already 10:32. We should start. So I request you all to sit with your spine erect. We will start with the chants of three Omkar. As you keep your shoulders proper, chin parallel, closed eyes, allowing your whole body to settle down. Let your attention be on your breathing. As you inhale and exhale, making yourself very peaceful there. Let us chant three Omkar. Slowly inhale. Gently open your eyes. Thank you. Last class we had done up to the completion of all the Shatkarmas. Dhoti, Basti, Neti, Trataka, Nauli, Kapal Bhati. Kapal Bhati was the last one which we did. That was shlok number 36 of the second chapter. As we get into the 37th one, Shatkarma Nirgata Sthaulya Kafadosha Mala Adikaha Pranayamam Tatah Kuryad Anayasena Siddhyati. So here, as one is practicing the Shatkarmas and getting rid of Sthaulya, Kafadosha, Mala, Adikaha, the person is not only purifying or removing the toxins, not only making the three doshas balanced, but also removing the sthaulya, that is, you can say fatty tissues from the body, making yourself lean or making yourself more and more overcoming the sloth or removing the laziness. Pranayamam tatah kuryat. Thereafter, one should start with the practice of pranayama, and it will be seen that he will succeed without much difficulty. Anayasena siddhyati. Success will come to you in a very peaceful, easy manner. So this assurance is given by Swatmaranji, telling us that how Shatkarma is very important to be done before the practice of pranayama. Now, this is where the technical versions of getting the breath regulation done is coming to us. See, this is where the Hatha Yoga is of lot of importance. If we see Patanjali's Yoga Sutra or if we go through Bhagavad Gita, we are coming across the philosophical aspect of knowing the truth or getting that knowledge of the eternal. But how to prepare, how to lay the foundation, how to be disciplined, what are the things that we should be looking into very carefully so that we are actually on the path. Hatha Yoga lays a very good foundation there, making us understand right from the first chapter how to organize ourselves with our diet, with our mitahar discipline, as well as where to be in the isolation and what kind of circumstances, situation are to be observed in order to go ahead and start practicing. And now, where we are coming to the pranayama, as we will be going through the pranayama and also the third chapter of mudras. In the fourth chapter, friends, we will be coming across such verses when we were discussing about the control of the senses in the morning and how the knowledge helps us to go ahead and how the control of the breath is going to help us. In the fourth chapter of this very Hatha Pratipika, there is one beautiful shloka which says, Indriyanam manonato manonathasta maruta. Marutasya layo nato sa layo nadama asharitah. Mind is the master of the senses. And if you want to bring about that control on the senses as well as on the mind, you should come to the disciplining of the breath. If you want to bring discipline to your breath, it is very important that you are bringing it under the ashraya of nada. And what is that better layer than nada to make that happen? So this beautiful shloka makes us understand how the practice of pranayam and oneness of the mind and the breath, where the manolaya as well as the chittalaya is taking place. And that is only because of the practice of pranayama. So when the mind is getting disciplined, when the chitta is getting disciplined, there is only one course flow, and that is where the Laya Yoga happens. And that Laya Yoga is ultimately getting us into that oneness. If you go through Shiva Samhita, we come across the observance of Prana Sanyama Yoga. When we were talking about pranayam in the morning and trying to discuss, in Shiva Samhita, in that Prana Sanyama Yoga, we come across the concept of Mantra Yoga, Hatha Yoga, Laya Yoga, and then Raja Yoga. See, in that Prana Sanyama, how that Prana Sanyam can be brought about with the combination of these 3-4 practices or 3-4 types of yoga. One is Mantra Yoga. With Mantra also you can bring about control on your prana and regularize it, organize it, and make it happen. And that is where the Ucharana of Om, Ucharana of the Bija mantras becomes very important for all of us to get that kind of regulation on prana. As we were discussing in the morning, how to bring about that kind of discipline. And as we were also putting some light on the different functioning of various upapranas. If the Mukhya prana, which is connected to the ultimate source, if it is existing in the body, this body is existing with consciousness. And if that leaves, this body is a lump of mud. So in this Prakriti type of body, if that prana exists, which is connected to the ultimate source, how we need to get connected with that source is the channel is through the pranayam only. And as we will be going through this Ashtakumbhaka, now as we are coming to it, every now and then Swatmaramji has made us connected or make us realize that understanding, which gives us a feeling that connecting with the breath is like connecting with the self. So this knowledge is very important there for us to take ahead. Otherwise, my Guruji, in fact, not Guruji, but my practical yoga teacher used to always say in a very joking manner, okay, it is not the inhalation and exhalation of the breath. Prana is much more than breath. When you inhale and exhale, there are many more things that is coming into you and going out of you. But when it is real source of prana that you get connected with to godliness, and which pulls you away from material and makes you more and more coming into close proximity of that godliness, or you can say in close proximity of Brahman. And how you will realize this prana itself is that source of knowledge, which will make you realize how closer you have come to that fact. So this is what we are going to learn now through this pranayama explanations, which is done beautifully by Swatmaramji. 38th one says, Pranayameraiva sarve prashushanti mala iti acharyanam tu keshantindanyat karmana sammatam. In the opinion of some teachers, all the impurities means is not only the physical impurities like mala. impurity is related to your mind, impurity is related to your attitudes, impurity is related to your way of thinking. You can say any kind of evil existing in the body can be wiped out with the practice of pranayama. And as they are removed by pranayama alone, they recognize no other means of purification. Now here, Swatmaramji is making us clear, as I have told you, Shatkarma is essential for those people who are having imbalance of doshas, whereas the other yogis whose doshas are balanced, but at the same time there are other impurities existing with relation to the thinking or the attitude. Even that can be managed with the practice of pranayama. ब्रह्मादयो अपि त्रिदिशाः पवन अभ्यास तत्पराः अभुवनन्तक भयात तस्मात् पवनम अभ्यसेत. See, in order to make us encouraged, motivated, and be into the practice, he makes even the energy or the force of Brahma and the other gods who were also devoted to the practice of pranayama, as they were also fearing death. When we say they were also fearing death, means we are coming to the stature of gods because of the punya karma. As you become more and more virtuous, you are going to the Swarga Loka or Deva Loka. At the same time, we need to understand the moment our punya is getting exhausted, you are coming back where it started. And there you have to do again the sadhana to get into the path of moksha and get rid of the life and death cycle. And this is what here is beautifully explained by Swatmaramji, where he says, even Brahmadeva and other gods were devoted to the practice of pranayama as they were fearing death. Hence, one should practice pranayama. Now, nobody is left from death if you are not on the path of moksha, if you are not on the path of self-realization. So, to know the truth, to get into that truth in the close proximity of the self, you need to keep on practicing pranayama. Yavad baddho maruddeha, yavad baddho maruddeha, yavat chittam nirakulam, yavat drishti bhruvor madhye, tavat kala bhayam kutah. Now from this shloka, 40th one, 40, 41 and 42, these three shlokas are like, a understanding of the techniques which you are supposed to follow in every other variety of pranayama or kumbhaka. Any variety or any pranayama that we are going to come across now, one by one, these three shlokas are giving us the general understanding of the technique. So, technique point of view, these three shlokas are very important here. He says, Yavat baddho maruddehe yavat chittam nirakulam. So long as one concentrates on the practice of the retention of the breath in the body, tranquility of mind, and fixing of the gaze between the eyebrows, there should not be any fear of death, or there should be no fear of death, as Swatmaramji puts it here. Now here, we all practice pranayama. Imagine Sabir Bhai sitting in front of you and doing Anulom Vilom, while inhaling through the left, exhaling through the right, inhaling through the right, exhaling through the left. He is not only exchanging the inhalation, exhalation as per the rules and regulation, but at the same time very much involved into the practice and going straight into something else. अभी थोड़ी देर के बाद में मुझे एक लेक्चर लेना है जहां पर मुझे ये टॉपिक के ऊपर डिस्कस करना है और उसके बारे में भी बताना है, और प्राणायाम चल रहा है. Now, action is there, but mind is not involved in the action. Now, that is where most of the sadhaka, they get into it. Many of people, as they do the pranayam, they will do sometimes like this. then they will arrange their hairs like this and they continue. And I have seen in my teaching career, I should not say this, but this is the fact. People, we always insist, and in between, we keep on giving instruction: keep your back erect, keep your back erect, keep your back. But still, the back comes like this. Okay, fine. But at the same time, if you're coming like this and letting your elbow to be getting supported by your knee, then what kind of a height of laziness is there in that pranayama? Asha ma'am, you may be smiling, laughing at this talk, but this is the fact which I have come across. We all come across this. And that's where we tell the student, see, when you're not keeping your back erect, when you're not allowing your chest, your rib cage to properly inhale and exhale and allow that exchange of gases to take place properly, and if not, you're doing this properly, the panch prana which we were talking about will not be activated properly. And if they are not activated or they are not brought into the functioning in a proper manner, how do you expect those changes to take place in order to take you to that knowledge? It is not going to happen. Somewhere this culturing of the body is very essential to culture the breath, and the culturing of the breath is very important to culture the mind, and the culturing of the mind is very important to bring about that viveka buddhi, that viveka to get connected with the self. Otherwise, पूरा पातंजल योग सूत्र खत्म हो जाता है, पूरा जो है ना भगवत गीता खत्म हो जाती है, पूरी हठयोग योग प्रतिपिका खत्म हो जाती है, एंड द स्टूडेंट स्टिल कम्स अहेड एंड आस्क, ठीक है, बट एट द सेम टाइम आई एम नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग व्हाई दैट पुरुष वांट्स टू गेट कनेक्टेड विद द प्रकृति. उसको मालूम है ना कि वो प्योर कॉन्शियसनेस है, ऑल परवेडिंग है, सब कुछ है, देन व्हाई स्टिल इट शुड गेट कनेक्टेड विद दैट माया? Why we should understand that this is reality and that is still not to be seen? Then I feel कि अच्छा ठीक है, चलो कोई बात नहीं, अब फिर से शुरुआत करते हैं जीरो से, है ना? तो somewhere the culturing of the body, the culturing of the breath, the culturing of the mind still needs to be done when you are going through Patanjali Yoga Sutra and when you are going through Bhagavad Gita, so that at that time itself this clarity comes to our mind. If this changing is taking place in the body, then these changes will take place in my ahara vritti, where pratyahara will take place. If these changes are taking place and observation of pratyahara is happening, of course the mind will become focused on what I am trying to achieve. And if my mind is focused on what I'm trying to achieve, dharana will happen. And in that dharana, only one day dhyana is going to take place. Otherwise, ये चीजें कहीं और रह जाती हैं और हम बाकी की बातें जो है ना डिस्कस करते रहते हैं. ये बहुत जरूरी हो जाता है यहां पर, जहां पर स्वात्माराम जी ने ये क्लैरिटी दी कि while performing pranayama, keep these three things in the mind. What are those three things? The retention of the breath, one means when you are practicing kumbhaka, the retention of the breath is the most important part of it. So long as one concentrate on the practice of retention of the breath, yavad baddho maruddehe, the kind of retention you are going to take, you will make it happen in your body. Second point, tranquility of the mind. Mind should not be involved into other factors of our daily routine. It should be completely tranquilized and involved into the process of pranayama. And the third point, in order to let our mind completely focused on that flow of the breath, whether it is puraka, rechaka, or kumbhaka, we need to let our gaze to get fixed in between the eyebrows, so that with that kind of activity, our mind is not getting diverted into anything else. Many a times in a joking manner, I always tell in my pranayama class to my students, okay, at the same time, remember that you are not getting strayed into the market. Students are there in my class and they are practicing. Do not worry, you may be feeling hungry, and while going home you are supposed to go to the market and purchase the sabji that you may be thinking. तो आज मुझे शाम को पति देव के लिए कौन सी सब्जी बनानी है, इसको सोचने के बजाय ये सोचो कि कैसे मोक्ष प्राप्त करना है. When I tell that thing in my class, they keep their hand down. Sir, please, ऐसा हमको चिढ़ाओ मत. I say, wasn't that happening in your mind? True, sir, लेकिन हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं ना. अरे भाई तुम कोशिश कर रहे हो लेकिन तुम्हारे चेहरे पर तुम नाकाम हो ये दिखाई दे रहा है, क्योंकि तुम्हारी सोच क्या है वो तुम्हारे चेहरे पर झलक रही है। तो तुम इससे डिस्कनेक्ट कब होगे? नहीं तो यहां प्राणायाम करके फायदा क्या है? और जब तक ये बातें उनके दिमाग में नहीं आती, बार बार ये तीन चीजें, how to be with the breath and try to retain it, one, how to keep the mind focused and tranquilized, two, and third, how to let your indriyas becoming focused on one aspect, and that is only the breath, nothing else. So here in the shlok number 40, Swatmaramji has made it very clear how to become focused, not allowing the mind to go here and there. Then he says in the 41st one, विधिवत प्राण संयम नाड़ी चक्रे विशोधिते सुषुम्ना वदनम भित्वा सुखाद्विशति मारुतः, सुखाद्विशति मारुतः. All the different groups of nadis being purified by regular practice of pranayam. Vidivat prana sanyama nadi chakre vishodite. Not only the nadis but also the energy centers like the padmas, the Muladhar, the Swadhisthana, the Manipura. These are the plexus, these are the junctions where the nadis are rooted. And if all these junctions are also getting purified, Sushumna Vadanam Bhitva, what is going to happen is Maruta will penetrate into the Sushumna. Now, Sushumna, the conceptual understanding, the pathway towards self-realization, that will become activated. That means we will be so much disconnected with the material world or worldliness that we will be involved only on that aspect which is going to connect us with the self. And then he says, Sukhad Vimshati Marutah. Not only Sushumna, but the Maruta will flow in a very balanced way among all the nadis with ease. Here, Maruta is none other than Prana. Many a times, Satmaramji makes the understanding of breath sometimes with Pavana, sometimes with Maruta, sometimes with Prana, sometimes with Samirana. We will be coming across those words in the further shlokas. So always keep in the mind that Maruta here is to do with the breath only. Now see the next one, 42. मारुते मध्य संचारे मनस्थैर्यं प्रजायते यो मनः सुस्थिर भावः सैव अवस्था मनोन्मनी. When the yes,
in the 40th slok it is said drishtir bhruvor madhye. So the drishti is with eyes closed or eyes open?
Your gaze or your vision should be directed only towards the bhrumadhya. Now, open or closed is something to do with the external factors. Where you close, you don't see external. When you open, you see the external. But here, bhrumadhya is something belonging to very your own. And whether you have closed it, you just take your the understanding of the optical nerves towards the in between the eyebrows, or even if you have opened it, still take it towards that bhrumadhya. And if you take it towards bhrumadhya, sir, even with the opened eyes, you cannot see anything else. Even if you do it with the closed eyes, you cannot see anything else. Neither you will be able to understand the other changes taking place in the body with respect to other parts of the body. So this bhruvor madhye drishti in Iyengar Guruji's Light of Pranayama, one very good book that is coming to us. As I was going through his way of explanation, he mentions 5 important things. Here, Satmaramji has mentioned 3 things. First thing Iyengar Guruji lays in front of us is sitting in a proper Adhar Asana. First. Second thing he says, that you should be having a proper mudra of your hand. Maybe Jnana Mudra, Padma Mudra, Drona Mudra, any Hasta Mudra, which is going to keep you involved into your breath disciplining. And third thing he says, the observation of the mudras and the bandha, Moola bandha, Jalandhar bandha, Uddiyana bandha, or you can say, if you are not doing chin lock, you are doing tongue lock, which we call as Jivha bandha. Then after that he says, let your attention be unifocused on the breath, how to make it happen and not allow your mind to get swayed here and there. Develop a kind of drishti on the Bhrumadhya or Nasagra, he says. Either you keep your drishti on the tip of the nose or keep it in between your eyebrows. His great student asked him that question. Yehudi Menuhin asked him that question, why should I need to do that? He said that ultimately, when you are doing a practice, you are belonging to those senses who have brought you to this understanding of going towards moksha. And there are very good chances that when you are not completely prepared, that you will stray out of this and get involved into many other things. So these are the things, 5 things related to your asana, related to your mudra, related to the bandha, related to the drishti, and focusing on your breath. All these things are very important when you are doing pranayama. Otherwise, there are very good chances that you will stray out. So, bhruvor madhye kal bhayam kutah, where there will be the fear of the death. Now, the fear of the death is comprising to all the 3. The retention of the breath, the tranquility of the mind, and fixing of the gaze. Because these 3 things are going to make you completely devoted and take you beyond life and death cycle. So that is the reason that these 3 things should be involved into the practice of pranayama. And 2 things have been added by the great Iyengarji, the asana, of course. So Atmaramji says in the first shloka itself, Athasane dhride yogi, vashi hitamitasana. By having a proper good control on everything, hitkar, mitkar, and what you eat and what you should not eat, all these things taken into consideration, and having that asana practice made you very much strong. Now you can go ahead with the practice of pranayama. But how? Under the guidance of a teacher. So the teacher always makes you to become, like we say, let us have this kind of security so that you are not getting strayed out of it. While climbing the mountain, we are also having the security of getting connected with each other with that rope. And then if one person loses the balance, he still is getting connected to the other and is not falling down. In the very similar manner, these are the certain things which keep you off from falling down out of the track of pranayama. They will keep you connected. So that is how we should go ahead, sir.
So, sir, if I understand you right, you are saying that both the options are open and person should choose whichever way, whether he wants to keep the eyes open or closed.
Yes.
Or do you recommend something, or do you recommend closed eyes in the beginning?
Now, it depends how you take it, sir, and how disciplined you are. When I say close your eyes and do it, it is better always for a new sadhaka. कई बार आंखें खुली रहती हैं लेकिन देखने का जो सेंस है ना वो नहीं रहता है, और कभी कभी हम किसी को बोलते हैं, ए भैया कहाँ खोए हुए हो, हमने आपके सामने क्या किया कुछ समझ में आया? नहीं, मेरा ध्यान नहीं था, लेकिन आंखें तो आपकी खुली थी। तो जब आपकी आंखें खुली थी और आप देख नहीं पाए, तो खुली आंखों से भी देखने के लिए ये माइंड का इन्वॉल्वमेंट बहुत जरूरी है। सो वेयर इज द इन्वॉल्वमेंट? सो वेदर द आईज आर ओपन्ड और क्लोज्ड, again I will say it doesn't matter. It is how you are focused on that activity will always matter. You got it, sir? Yeah. So that is how we need to understand the fact. नहीं तो कभी कभी क्या होता है मालूम है, जैसे कि अभी साबिर भाई अपनी क्लास के अंदर जो है बड़े अच्छे से ऐसे ध्यान से ना अपने टीचर को आंख खुली रखकर देखते हैं। अब वो टीचर क्या पढ़ा रही है वो देख रहे हैं या टीचर को देख रहे हैं पता नहीं, डोंट नो. So whether you are understanding what she is teaching or he is teaching, or you are just portraying that you are at him very much attentively. And if the teacher is really smart, he will ask Sabir, hey, hello, where are you? Where was I? Can you tell me? And then Sabir will say, sir, I missed it, what you said. तो फिर ऐसे होता है, आंखें खुली रहती हैं लेकिन ध्यान कहीं और रहता है, स्विट्जरलैंड घूम रहे होंगे, क्या पता. So this is how we have to understand that when you are taking your gaze in between the eyebrows, you are not allowing your mind to get strayed on any other aspect. You are completely focused on what you are doing as a pranayama. Okay, sir? Yes. So here we are coming to the 42nd shloka, which says, Marute madhya sanchare manasthairyam prajayate. When Maruta start forcing through the Sushumna, mind attains steadiness. Now, a new student, by reading this statement, he will or she will feel as if truly the breath is traveling through that Sushumna Nadi. Now, this is a conceptual knowledge, conceptual understanding. This clearly makes us understand that when you are totally engrossed in that path of self-realization, on the way, when you're completely into it, what is going to happen to your mind? Your mind is going to get tranquilized. Your mind is going to become steady. Your mind is going to be still. So here, Swatmaranji makes it very clear. Marute madhya sanchare manasthairyam prajayate. Yo manah susthir bhav manonmani. The condition of the steadiness of the mind. If you are persisting thoroughly, regularly with this kind of conditioning of the mind to be in stillness or to be in steadiness, one day you are going to attain that state of manonmani, beyond the state of mind, or no mind state you are going to attain. Now, this statement is like, you just be with your breath and you will find that your mind has become still. And once the stillness of the mind is achieved, you are in the state of dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, which is like sanyama taking place. And this is going to bring about the various powers, as we were in the morning, madam was making us understand that. In this chapter itself, Swatmaramji makes us clear that this pranayam will also bring you across the achievement of certain siddhis, supernatural powers like anima, mahima, lagima, prakti, prakamya. All these kind of siddhis are going to come, which we call as ashtamaha siddhis. So this is the proper practice of pranayama, and the approach and the attitude and the kind of understanding we are having before even going to understand what are the ashtakumbhakas, and if there are different varieties, how to do those varieties. Before understanding that, he is making us clear, okay, what should be your approach in doing that. So with this clarity, we go into the 43rd one, where it says, Tat siddhaye vidhan न्यास चित्राण कुर्वन्ति कुंभकान विचित्र कुंभका अभ्यासाद विचित्रान सिद्धिम आपनुयात. Now he is making us clear that for the success in manonmani, or to get that understanding of self-realization, experts practice various kinds of kumbhaka, vichitra kumbhakan. Many kinds of kumbhakas are being practiced. By practicing different kumbhaka, one attains all different kind of siddhis, and in that extraordinary powers, he mentions including manonmani. In that, manonmani also comes. That is the going beyond the state of mind. Now, this is the result. If you are observing the above 3 shlokas as a technique in the varieties of pranayam, and he says experts have practiced various kinds. That means if you see the earlier text before the Atapradipika, like Siddha Siddhanta Paddhati, Goraksha Shataka, or if you come across the Goraksha Manjari, if you come across the other texts like Shiva Samhita, you will find that there are not as many varieties explained as it is done here. In Goraksha Shataka, only 2 varieties. That's all. In Siddha Siddhanta Paddhati, only 2 varieties. Now, why he has gone on to explain us 8 varieties? And he is telling us very clearly. Experts have mentioned that. That means, as in this space of time, right from the 6th century or 10th century AD up to the 14th century, in this 400, 500 years or 1000 years, many yogis came into development of the pranayama practice, and they came across various subjective pranayamas, making us understand what is the kind of result that we are going to achieve, and why he feels that we should go through as many pranayama as 8 kumbhakas been mentioned here. It is not essential that we should practice all the 8 kumbhaka. As in Bhagavad Gita simply said that you be focused on your breath, and it is like you are bringing regulation of breath. Bhagavad Gita doesn't give us the explanation about Moola Bandha, Jalandhar Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. In the 6th chapter, we will be going across and understanding how the head, neck, and the spine or the back has to be kept in one line, and sitting in that Padmasana, you are getting into that Dhyana Sthiti. Only that much has been said, because it is taken into understanding that already these things will be taught to the student by the teacher. The teacher is always there. The guru is always there to do the margadarshan of the student. But what is the ultimate understanding that one should be always focused on is been given into the philosophical understanding ways that we are going through in the Bhagavad Gita or Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. Here also, as per the different experts and their varieties, as they made us understand how to practice that kumbhaka and the changes happen, how to connect it with different ways of doing the pranayama. So here Swatmaranji is very clear. These are the facts that you are going to at the same time, there will be various different varieties, like in Surya Veda, inhaling through right and exhaling through left. Like in Ujjayi, producing the hissing sound. Jay Kumar, can you mute yourself, please? And if you come across Chitkari and Shitali, you will see the involvement of the Puraka and Rechak with respect to inhalation or Puraka through the mouth. Bhastrika, very vigorous practice of inhalation and exhalation, and then leading from inhalation to the right nostril and exhalation through the other by retention of the breath. Brahmari, producing the humming sound. Then we are coming across Murcha and Plavini. So if you see all the 8 varieties, they are different by means of Puraka and Rechaka. Puraka is inhalation and Rechaka is exhalation. They are differing with each other only with respect to Puraka and Rechaka. But Kumbhaka is same. That is retention of the breath in every type of pranayam is very same. They are not different in all the varieties. So here, for us, that is what is very important. If you see Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, in the Sutra number 51, as Patanjali makes us understand what are the types of pranayama. Bahya Abhyantara, Stamba Vritti, Desha Kala Sankhya, Paradrishto, Dirgha Sukshmaha. So, he is making us understand 3 modifications. Bahya Vritti, external modification. Abhyantara Vritti, internal modification. Stamba Vritti, with knowledge, either internal or external modification. That is somewhere getting stationary. And he says, you have to keep in your mind, Desha Kala Sankhya. Desha, is the place. Kala is the time of the practice. So here the thing is very clear. If you are practicing pranayama in the morning, the kind of experience that you will be having out of as a result of practicing pranayama in the morning is going to differ in the evening. It is not always going to be same. And at the same time, sankhya will also matter. How many rounds, how many cycles you have done, and how you are keeping the breath, dirgha and sukshma. Now, friends, all these minute aspects of pranayama really matters. And Patanjali doesn't include the Chaturtha in the 51st sutra itself. He explains it separately, the 52nd one, and says, Bahya Abhyantara Vishayaka Shepi Chaturtha. That is Chaturtha, where as you are into the practice of conditioned state of mind and body, tranquilized state of mind and body, tranquilized state of completely disconnection from the external, and you are completely involved into the self, and you do not even realize whether your breath is held out or in, or it is still in process, and you are in a stillness, and that stillness is Kevala Kumbhak according to Hatha Pratipika, and according to Patanjali it is Chaturtha. It is the fourth one, which is beyond the first three. It has nothing to do with that, because the first three you are practicing with awareness of the body, the mind, the breath, and doing all the kind of techniques, carrying out the activity and making yourself disciplined. But now beyond the discipline, what is the result? You are in this state, and this state is always termed very similar to dhyana, very similar to that stages of samadhi, whether it is vitarka, vichara, ananda, or asmita, according to the samapatis, savitarka, savichara, nirvitarka, nirvichara, or sananda, sasmita. All these things, when you will be learning and going through the Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, as we are going through the Hatha Pratipika, you will be able to connect it with it nicely and understand that this Kevala, this Chaturtha itself is there. And here also, Swatmaramji, as he completes all the varieties, he goes ahead and tells us, you see, these are the three processes. Which are the three processes? Puraka, Kumbhaka, Rechaka. And beyond these three processes, there are two varieties of Kumbhaka. Now here we need to understand. पहले तो वो बोलते हैं कि 8 वैरायटी है, और लास्ट पूरी 8 वैरायटी एक्सप्लेन करने के बाद में बोलते हैं कि 2 ही वैरायटी है. एंड 2 वैरायटी क्या है? सहित एंड केवल. तो सहित कुंभक इज ऑल द 8 varieties, where the Puraka and Rechak is different. The Kumbhaka is same. So that is all Sahit Kumbhak. Whereas when it comes to Kevala, you are beyond Puraka, Rechaka. You are into that state where the mind has become still with the breath. The breath has become still with the mind. And this stillness is the realization of the self. So this is how, in a very small, what I can say, unit, I have made you understand what we are going to come across next as we come to the 44th shloka, which tells us about the Ashtakumbhaka. But before going ahead, whatever I have said, is there any doubt? As I'm laying a foundation for you to understand it clearly, if there is any doubt, let us have a discussion here. Unmute, sir.
About terminology, instead of saying 8 types of pranayama, why he is saying 8 types of kumbhaka?
Yes, this was the same question which I asked my teacher. And he said, Ke Puraka and Rechaka, these are the factors which will keep you connected with the external world. And Kumbhaka is something which will get you connected with the internal world. So when he said internal world, it is internalization. So पूरक and रेचक, जब तक ये प्राणों का आदान प्रदान चल रहा है, आप बाहरी दुनिया से कनेक्टेड हैं। तो अगर हमें ये वैरायटीज करनी है और इसमें कुंभक को अगर कभी हमको इंपॉर्टेंस देना है, तो वॉट एवर टाइप ऑफ आदान प्रदान यू डू विथ पूरक एंड रेचक, ultimately that kumbhak in between is important, which is going to get you into that internalization and make you get connected with the self. That's why he says, let me call this pranayamas as kumbhaka only. Most of the time he is not talking about pranayam, but he is talking about kumbhaka, because he is laying an emphasis that kumbhaka is important. Kumbhaka is important. Is that understood, sir? Yes, thank you. Let us go ahead. Any other? Yes, sir.
In any case, Shabir bhai,
जी,
the Purak Rechak movement is there.
हाँ,
In Kumbhak, movement is not there. So as to introduce that Chale Bate Chalam Chittam,
yes,
that means stoppage, the stage of the prana is to the stillness of mind. That's what.
yes, very true, sir.
So
सही है.
it means the Kumbhak is for the internal and the Rechak and Purak for the external.
Exactly.
Thank you,
Yes, yeah. अथ कुंभक भेदाः सूर्य भेदनम उज्जाई सितकारी शीतली तथा भस्त्रिका भ्रामरी मूर्छा प्लाविनी इति अष्ट कुंभकाः. So these are the 8 kinds of kumbhaka. They are Surya Bhedanam, Ujjayi, Sitkari, Shitali, Bhastrika, Brahmari, Murcha, Plavini. As these 8 are named, let us try to understand each one of them, starting with the Surya Bhedan itself. The 45th shloka is making us understand how every pranayam has to be done with respect to Puraka, Kumbhaka and Rechaka. If you see the 45th one, it says, Puraka ante tu kartavyo, bandho jalandhara bhidah, Kumbhaka ante Rechakado, kartavyastu udyanakah. And now this 45, 46 and 47, you please note it down. 45, 46, 47. As the earlier one, 40, 41 and 42, they were trying to make us have an approach and understanding of the Ashtakumbhaka. Now this 45, 46 and 47, they are making us to have an understanding of the pure technique of any pranayam. Pure technique of any pranayam. He says, Puraka ante tu kartavyo bandho jalandhara. You have to do jalandhar bandha as you have done with the Puraka. Puraka is inhalation. As soon as you have done with the inhalation, you should apply chin lock. Then he says, Kumbhaka ante rechakado. कुंभक के अंत में और रेचक के पहले. गौर से सुनो, कुंभक यानी रिटेंशन ऑफ द ब्रेथ के अंत में और रेचक करने से पहले. कर्तव्यस्तु उड्डयनकः. उड्डयन बंद आपको कब करना है? रेचक करने से पहले और कुंभक के अंत में. यानी आप का जो एब्डोमेन है, एब्डोमिनल लॉक जिसको हम कहते हैं उड्डयन बंद और नेवल लॉक, this has to be applied at the end of the kumbhaka. But before you start with the rechaka, at that point of time when you apply it, you are going ahead with the rechaka. Now this is not here completed. Let us go to the next. Adhastat akunchane nashu. The next shloka. Adhastat akunchane nashu. Kanta sankochane krute. Madhya Paschima Tanena Syat Prano Brahmanadigaha. Now, along with that Jalandhar Bandha and Udyan Bandha, he is adding Adhastat Akunchane Nashu. You are going to contract your Adha, that is the lower, that is the pubic region, or you can say perineal region, or you can say anus muscles. As that is contracted, Kanta Sankochane Krite, first you apply Moola Bandha. Then you do Kanta Sankoch, that is Jalandhar Bandha. And then you go ahead, Madhya Paschima Tanena. the abdominal region getting pulled towards the back, paschimataanena, syat prano brahmanadigah. What is going to happen? How it is going to result into? The prana will soon begin to course through the brahmanadi. Now, prana will soon begin to course through brahmanadi. We have understood this fact in the shloka number 42, where it says, Mate madhya sanchare manastairiam prajayate. Now, that is where the brahmanadi, as the prana start going through that is the conceptual understanding of the flow of the prana towards self-realization, the mind is coming to stillness. So here we have to connect to that. Now see the 47th one. Apanam urdhvam utthapya pranam kantadadho nayet yogi jara vimuktah san षोडशाब्दवया भवेत. अब ये लास्ट की लाइन जो है, योगी जरा विमुक्तः सन षोडशाब्दवया भवेत. If you literally take it into the meaning sense, it says the practitioner will get rid of old age and mrityu, and at the same time he will become like a 16-year-old. Now sometimes I feel with his language or this decorative language of shlokas, sometimes it is an exaggeration, or sometimes जैसे कि एक माँ अपने बच्चे को गुस्सा करते समय बोलती है ना, मैं तेरी जान ले लूंगी, ऐसा बोलती है ना, वो जान तो लेने वाली नहीं है, लेकिन ऐसा कहती है. वो कहने का मतलब क्या, उसको गुस्से में है और उसको ये चीज पसंद नहीं है. तो यहां पर एक डेकोरेटिव लैंग्वेज के अंदर स्वात्माराम जी ने यही कहा कि अगर आप इस तरह के डिसिप्लिन में आ जाएंगे तो शायद आप शरीर के जो चेंजेस हैं, जो आपको ओल्ड एज की तरफ ले जाता है, जो आपको एक न एक दिन मृत्यु की तरफ भी ले जाएगा, शायद आप इससे डिले करना शुरू कर दोगे, इससे दूर होने लगोगे. और जैसे जैसे ये दूर होता है तो आपको ऐसी फीलिंग आएगी कि आप जैसे 16 साल के कुंवारे हो. नाउ दिस इज समथिंग someone will feel, अच्छा प्राणायाम करने से I will be like a 16-year-old. Oh wow, let me get into the practice of pranayama. No, he will be the most foolish one. We have to understand here that whatever age you are in, at that point of time, the degenerative changes which were taking place in your body, to take it towards that jara or mrityu, that is towards old age or mrityu, it will get stalled. Why? Because you are getting into that kind of interaction with prana shakti, which is going to sustain you along with it, making it balanced. See, the prana which exists in your body is truly very much different from the prana which exists as a universal resource. And now what is happening? That resource and the one which is there in your body, they both are coming to a state of balancing. So the kind of prana which is existing outside will be the same within. That means what? Toxins removed. All the bad, evil things removed. Ahead you will come across this fact that even the prarabdha karma or the evilness of the past karmas will be taken care of. So when I said to my teacher, अरे सर जी, if this is the case, इसका मतलब कुछ भी करके मैं प्राणायाम करूंगा तो बच जाऊंगा, ऐसा है? बोले साबिर ऐसा नहीं है. प्राणायाम करते समय आपके शरीर की रचना, आपके अंदर की जो फंक्शन हो रही है उसकी रचना, ये सब इस कदर स्थिर हो जाती है कि आप जो प्रारब्ध कर्म से तकलीफ से गुजरने वाले हो या अच्छाई से गुजरने वाले हो, जो भी उसका रिजल्ट है, whatever is the result of the karma, you will just go through as it is rather than experiencing the pain and the pleasure of the same. That means you will go beyond the pain and the pleasure. That is the beauty of being with prana. See how the teachers make a student understand कि ऐसा गड़बड़ में मत आओ बाबा, तुम बूढ़ा होने वाला है, तुम एक ना एक दिन पक्का मरने वाला है, और ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि तुम 16 साल का जवान दिखने वाला है, बिल्कुल नहीं. लेकिन ऐसा जरूर है कि कहां पर आपको ये फैक्ट्स को अपने कंसेप्चुअल लैंग्वेज से जोड़ते हुए स्पिरिचुअलिटी की तरफ आपको इंक्लाइन करना है. और वो स्पिरिचुअलिटी के लिए क्या चाहिए? एक ऐसे प्रकार की अवस्था शरीर और मन के अंदर जिसमें आपको किसी भी प्रकार की तकलीफ, यानी कोई बीमारी नहीं, कोई परेशानी नहीं, कोई चिंता नहीं, सर्व चिंता विवर्जितः, सारी चिंताओं से मुक्त. You are into a different flow altogether. Now that is what we are expecting here. And he says, Apan urdhvam utthapya pranam kantadado nayet. As you are into that kind of Moola Bandha, then the Jalandhar Bandha and the Udyana Bandha, these three bandhas are going to let your Apana Vayu. Apana Vayu is directed downward, isn't it? So now what will happen? This Apana Vayu which is directed downward will be directed upward along with the Mukhya Prana. As it is directed upward, what is going to happen? You are going to the path towards self-realization. The Shakti is trying to become one with Shiva. The understanding of my separateness with the consciousness is happening, and I'm trying to become one with the self, one with the consciousness. So this is the understanding which we are getting out of every pranayam. That's why, see, in our Vedas, it is very clearly written, pranayamam paramam tapaha. The ultimate tapa, which is to be understood, is pranayama. Now here this is how और आजकल रोजाना हमको फोन कॉल्स आते हैं, सर हमने ऐसे सुना कि ये कोविड-19 को टक्कर देना है, इससे लड़ना है तो प्राणायाम का प्रैक्टिस करना चाहिए. तो कभी कभी दिल में ऐसा आता है, अरे कोविड-19 से अफेक्टेड है हो तो जल्दी से जल्दी जो है ये अंडरस्टैंडिंग ले आओ कि ये शरीर से मुक्त हो जाओ और ऐसे शरीर में आ जाओ कि जहां से आपकी शुरुआत जो है बेसिक से शुरू हो, डायरेक्टली प्राणायाम से नहीं. फिर भी हमको उनको योग की तरफ आकर्षित करने के लिए कहना पड़ता है, ठीक है आ जाओ, लेकिन कुंभक नहीं करना. जबकि यहां पर क्लियरली कहा गया है कि कुंभक इज द अल्टीमेट प्राणायाम. हम क्या कहते हैं, आपको कुंभक नहीं करना है, आपको क्या करना है, सिर्फ ब्रेथ को रेगुलेट करना है. किस तरह से आप सांसें ले रहे हैं और किस तरह से आप छोड़ रहे हैं. जब आप छोड़ते हैं, रेचक करते हैं, तो ये ध्यान में रखो कि आपका रेचक जो है पूरक से लंबा है. वो बोले सर ये होता नहीं है. हाँ ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, आपने पहले कभी किया नहीं, आपको पता नहीं चल रहा है, इसलिए आप करते जाइए, आपको पता चल जाएगा और आपको एहसास होने लगेगा कि रेगुलर प्रैक्टिस से ऐसे होता है. एक ना एक दिन my friends, that person will come and tell us, sir, now I can come to that 1:2 का ratio, but let me know what is the real understanding behind this 1:2 का ratio. तब समझ जाना कि ऊंट आया पहाड़ के नीचे. अब बीमारी नहीं सोच रहा है वो, अब वो ये सोच रहा है कि इसके पीछे राज क्या है. तब बच्चे को बिठाओ और नींबू घुमाओ उसके सर पे से. मेक हिम अंडरस्टैंड कि हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू गो अहेड step by step. What are the values? What are the yama niyamas? How to culture the body? How to discipline the body? And then go ahead and discipline the breath, wherein the retention will happen. That is the time that you are introducing the kumbhaka. Until then, just make them understand. हाँ यही प्राणायाम है, यही प्राणायाम करते रहो, नहीं तो बड़ा प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है. बिकॉज स्वात्माराम जी ने हमारे सामने क्लियरली कह दिया कि प्राणायामेन युक्तेन सर्वरोग क्षयो भवेत्, बट एट द सेम टाइम अयुक्त अभ्यास सर्वरोग समुद्भव. You will be attracting what is not there into you. So why to take that risk? It is better to get disciplined step by step. But to get this understanding, अगर हम नया कोई स्टूडेंट आया और उसको कह दें कि नहीं नहीं प्राणायाम ऐसे नहीं कर सकते और इसको करने के लिए आपको स्टेप बाय स्टेप जाना है, तो वो क्या सोचेगा मालूम है, तब तक तो कोविड-19 अपना काम करके निकल जाएगा, फिर मेरा काम कैसे चलेगा. तो भैया कोविड-19 इज लाइक अ ब्लेसिंग, so that the person is coming to yoga. We have to understand that and get into it. So this is how the three shlokas 45, 46 and 47 gives us the technique. What is the technique? You do puraka, but before doing puraka, what you are supposed to do? Apply Moola Bandha. So having done with Moola Bandha, you have done puraka. That means inhalation done. As inhalation is done, apply chin lock. As chin lock is applied, pull the tummy in. When you are supposed to do Uddiyana Bandha? At the start of Rechaka, according to Swatmaram ji. But friends, if we go to the other text, like Gheranda Samhita, like Hatha Ratnavali, they are coming to the understanding that the moment you have applied chin lock, you should apply Uddiyana Bandha also, the abdominal lock also. You should not wait for that time when you are supposed to do the Rechaka and then pull the Udyana in. That is Madhya Paschimatanena. You should not allow that to happen at last of the Kumbhaka, but you make it happen at the start of the Kumbhaka. तो I asked, सर ये डिफरेंस क्यों है? तो उन्होंने कहा, साबिर, जब स्वात्माराम जी ने ये लिखा होगा तो शायद ऐसे हो रहा होगा कि द मोमेंट द एयर इज और द ब्रेथ और द प्राण इज रिटेन्ड इन and you are supposed to do the Rechaka, the abdominal muscles should not lag. And then Swatmaram ji might have told, okay, now as you are going to do Rechaka, do not let your abdomen to be loose. Let it be pulled in. Madhya Paschimatanena, pull back. As that is observed, you will find that the apana which was going to be urdhva is still remaining up. Otherwise, what happens? The moment you are about to do the Rechaka, your abdomen is becoming loose. And as it is becoming loose, the kind of hold that you are having on the Apana Vayu may get released. So, as a understanding of the same, Swatmaramji has told that. But as the teachers, the contemporary teachers became more and more realized of this fact, this is leading to not even understanding that I am supposed to apply Udyan Bandh now as I'm going to do the Rechak. But by the time the Kumbhaka is attained, there is an internal feeling, okay, now let me release. The great teachers have said that you will come across three indications: Prathama Udgat, Dvitya Udgat, and Tritya Udgat. Prathama Udgat you have to still retain. Dvitya Udgat, it is like still retaining. But Tritya, that is where the Marana Avastha comes in, and you should not get into. Marana Avastha means you will feel that if I'm still not going to exhale, I may die. And before that, you have to do the... But at that instance of doing the Rechaka, if that person is not having the understanding that I am supposed to apply Udyana Bandha now, if that clarity is not there, then you will lose the hold on the pranayam itself. So it is better that as you have applied the chin lock, better apply the Udyana Bandha also. And at the time of Rechaka, it will happen easily. So they made pranayam more easier. During Satmaramji's tenure, practicing pranayam as it is, fantastic. But at the same time, now it is being made easier as we are applying Udyana Bandh. Similarly, at the same time as you apply chin lock. So chin lock and abdominal lock, they are one after the other simultaneously applied and done with the Kumbhaka. You are releasing the chin lock and going for the Rechaka. As you are going for the Rechaka, as the lungs are getting emptied, what you will see? The abdomen which was already pulled in is slowly getting still there itself rather than becoming loose and coming out. So this all technical understandings are there when you are practicing pranayama. And this beauty really helps us to get involved into the process and get regulated. So before starting Surya Bhedan, as we have understood these three shloka of how to practice the technique of every pranayama and how to have that gesture, the inclination, the approach towards every pranayama, we should go ahead now to the next with Surya Bhedan. But before that, I would really be glad to clarify the doubts, or if there is anything that you would like to share. No doubts there? Should we go ahead? It is already 11:35. We still have 10 minutes. So let us do maximum coverage. Okay. So the next is Surya Bhedan. Atha Surya Bhedanam. Asane sukhade yogi badhva cha eva asanam tatah dakshanadya samakrushya bahishtham pavanam shanaihi akeshadan khagrach akeshadan nakhak agrach nirodhavadhi kumbhayet tatah shanaihi savyanadaya rechayet pavanam shanaihi. So in this 48 and 49, he has explained the technique of performing Surya Bhedan. Asane sukhade yogi. After making yourself comfortable in an asan, maybe Padmasan, as you have done that, Dakshanadya samakrushya bahistam pavanam shanai. You inhale the external air and let it come into your lungs. आकेशादान नखाग्रच्च, आकेशाद नखाग्रच्च निरोधावधि कुंभयेत. You should feel the tension of the retention of the breath up to the root of the hairs and tip of your nails. See the tension you are developing in the body by retaining the breath. And then it is said, Tataha shanaihi savyanadya rechayet pavanam shanaihi. And after having done with that kumbhaka, slowly exhale out through the left nostril. अब देखो यहां पर खाली एक ही शब्द यूज किया गया, कुंभक, लेकिन कुंभक के साथ साथ उन्होंने ऐसे कुछ कहा क्या? अप्लाई चिन लॉक, अप्लाई एब्डोमिनल लॉक, मेक श्योर दैट यू हैव अप्लाइड मूलबंध also. Nothing said. Why? Because the clarity has been already given earlier. Okay, how you are supposed to practice kumbhaka. As this clarity is given and this technique is understood, assuming a firm asana on a comfortable seat and slowly drawing in the external air through the right nostril, kumbhaka, that is retention of the breath, is to be practiced until one feels the effect of the retention of the breath up to the hairs and the tip of the nails. Then the breath is to be slowly exhaled through the left nostril. Now the beauty is, what is the result? Kapala shodhanam vata doshagnam krumi dosha harata punah punar idam karyam surya bhedanam uttamam. He says this surya bhedan pranayam is one of the best and you should do it again and again. Why? Because it is going to bring about kapala shodhanam. It is going to cleanse your skull. Vata doshagnam. It is going to take care of all the vata disorders related to vata dosha. Krumi dosha harata, any foreign organism in our body which is not part of your existence is supposed to be removed or killed. And that is going to happen with the help of Surya Bhedan. Now, friends, understand, in today's scenario, we are experiencing the COVID-19 situation. If a person who is already into the discipline of yoga, observing all the yama niyama, the values, and also regular into his practice of asana, is into the pranayam practice of Surya Bhedan, वो COVID-19 नजदीक भी कैसे आएगा? Because you're already, the immunity is to such a great level that even if it comes to you, it is ineffective. It is not going to harm you at all. Why? Because the internal energy system of the prana regulation, which has come to that level, it is going to make that thing get rid of completely. So here it is a clear understanding. The excellent practice of Surya Bhedan should be practiced again and again. It cleanses the frontal sinus, destroys the disorders of Vata dosha, and at the same time, diseases caused by worms. So these worms can be the worms which are found to be there in our intestine because of wrong eating or wrong digestion or impurities in the body, any kind of infection, any kind of fungal infection, any kind of bacterial infection, whatever you say, Surya Bhedan is going to be helpful. But here there is no contraindication given or limitation given. The great teachers have always said, a person who is having high blood pressure, whether it is Surya Bhedan or whether it is any other pranayam, they should not practice kumbhaka. Even if you are having high blood pressure, you practice Surya Bhedan. Surya Bhedan with Puraka and Rechaka, but better avoid kumbhaka, because the kumbhaka is going to bring about that manipulation in the pranas, and if it is already in the defective mode, then it may be risky. So it is better to avoid at that time and let the things settle down and then go for it. So this is how we are understanding Surya Bhedan here. Let us have some discussion on this.
What about the duration of Recha Kumbhak Purak?
He has already mentioned earlier the Adhama, the Madhyama, and Uttama Sadhaka. And a guru knows who is an Adhama, where the sweat is going to get experienced, who is Madhyama, where Kampana is going to experience, and who is Uttama, who is going to lift himself into the self-realization path. So the duration is been clarified in the further text of Gheranda Samhita and all, where it is said the Adhama practices 12, 48 and 24, Madhyama practices the 16, 64 and 32, and whereas the ultimate Uttama practices 20, 80 and 40. So this understanding you will come to you from the teacher, because here Swatmaramji has laid all the prerequisites early, and now he is only into the explanation about the technique. So when it comes to technique, he is just mentioning us how to do the Puraka, how to do the Rechaka, and what is the kind of result that you are going to expect of such kind of variety. So this is how he is making us understand. But the duration we have to build up step by step, gradually as we go across. आज हम जब प्रैक्टिस करते हैं तो साबिर भाई की खुद की एबिलिटी नहीं है कि वो 12, 48 और 24 कर सकें. तो साबिर भाई कहां तक जाते हैं? एट द मोस्ट 6, 24 एंड 12 बोलते हैं यहीं तक अपना काफी है. यानी जो अधम का लेवल है उसका आधा लेवल पे अब हम हैं. तो हमको अगर वो लेवल में जाना है तो हमारी साधना चलती रहनी चाहिए. तो अकॉर्डिंग टू योर एबिलिटी, अकॉर्डिंग टू योर कैपेसिटी, one should understand, one should have that kind of knowledge or wisdom at least from the teacher acquired, that he is supposed to be going through it gradually and slowly, not to directly jump on that. This is how we have to go to ascertain the duration, sir.
So those ratios 1:4:2 are universal for pranayama, or
Yes.
this is applicable only to Anulom Vilom and Nadi Shodhana?
No, it is universal to all the pranayamas. In fact, in one of the texts, I am not remembering now, it is said that not only Anulom Vilom or Nadi Shodhan is to be practiced morning, afternoon, evening and midnight, but any pranayam that you are taking into consideration as your favorite one, to get into that state of Kevala Sthiti, you should be practicing it 4 times a day with the same dedication. And this has been reiterated by Iyengar Guruji in his book Light of Pranayam. That is the beauty.
And is Surya Bhedan, sorry, we're just approaching time, but is it said to be very heating in nature?
Yes.
So then what could it have ill effects on the body, even though no contraindication is mentioned here?
It will certainly affect rather than being effective if there are limitations. As I gave one limitation of Surya Bhedan, a limitation of high blood pressure. Now there are other limitations like ulcers in the abdomen, or heat boils on the skin, or that person of being of the nature of very hyper activities or getting aggressive with small amount of provocation. For him, Surya Bhedan is not advised. So according to that person's nature, we need to understand which is the right pranayam for that person to get involved into and get into the start. And then later on, somewhere in the further stages, Surya Bhedan can be introduced. That is how one has to understand that.
Sabir bhai, in my case, I have a borderline hypertension. That means I take a 2.5 mg tablet.
Okay.
So with practice of Yogasana, can it go down completely? Can I be free of tablets?
In my 15 years of tenure, I have seen many people, doctors suggesting them to stop the tablet.
Okay.
This is my experience.
And then after that, I can start Kumbhak.
Yes.
After that, I can start.
And let me tell you, after that, Kumbhaka means with the disciplined fact. But you can still but you can still do the Kumbhaka with Sahaj Kumbhaka, where you're not having any ratio, but you're still observing Moola Bandha, Jalandhar Bandha, and Udiyana Bandha. One day I will take your class, sir, of Pranayam along with Jai Kumar, where we will come to that understanding.
Okay, fine.
Thank you. We will end here. Thank you.